award-winning star and producer of The Bear. He's also a chef, restaurateur, and best-selling cookbook author. Here today with his latest soup, salads, and sandwiches.
Please welcome back to the show, the one and only Matty Matheson.
First of all, congratulations on all the success of the show. Love watching the show. So
Thank
it's a
you.
real huge honor to have you here. And there's lots of great food to dig into. But before we get into that, I want to know about your love, your passion for the 3 S's. The soup, the salads, and the sandwiches, Matty. Talk to us.
Well, you know, there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of passion with salad. Or maybe there's a lack thereof, and now we're trying to put some passion in there.
Gotcha.
And I find that everyone makes the same salad. You know, I make the same salad. Every time I go to my house, I make the same salad. I do a thing. You know, soups. I don't know. How many times do you make soups, really? Do you make a hearty soup?
I make but 3 different types. You're totally right. I go back to the same sandwich.
A chunky one, throw some kale, a bean one, throw some stuff in it, whatever it may be. But it's just like a sandwich. Even at home, if I make a sandwich, it's still just like a bologna sandwich or a mortadella sandwich or like a salami. Like, it's just still nothing, you know? It's just a thing that you do quickly.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, soup salad sandwiches deserve their flowers. And I think that they should, you know, like, they're incredible things. They're incredible things, and they can be meals. And a salad can be a supper. A salad can be, you know, for your wedding.
Love that.
It can be anything.
We're gonna start with soup, something you describe as the friend you've never had, but is always there for you. I love this. Poetry. I understand that a soup your mentor made for you actually changed your life.
Well, you know, we love pho.
Yeah.
But I never knew. I grew up in a small town, and we didn't have any Vietnamese restaurants. So when I moved to Toronto and I was working at Le Select, and maybe I was a little hungover, I don't know. But I remember Rang brought me some pho, and I never had it before. And he told me I never even saw like a bird's eye chili before.
Yeah.
And he got me to eat the whole thing, which kind of messed me up. Yeah. But that's Rang. Rang, I'm watching you. But yeah, like, I think it's just one of those things where eating something you've never had before, and then eating something that is so filled with love and so kind of just dank. It's just good. Yeah. And you're just like, what is this? I'm like, I grew up on, like, you know, like cream of mushroom soup. And like, I grew up like beige and unremarkable. You know, like, it is like one of those things. Like, I love my family. I love my parents. They're incredible cooks. But it is like, we're salt and pepper. Like, our mashed potatoes was just like forked mashed potatoes. Like, there was no, my dad liked it dry.
Okay. Sure.
Steve, you liked it dry.
Well, tell us about the new best friend we're about to try, which is this caramelized maple parsnip soup. This guy. So tell us about this while we dig in.
Well, this is a beautiful soup. Parsnips are naturally very sweet and delicious, and it's a robust vegetable. You know, it can feed a lot of people. It's hearty. It gets the appetite gone. It decimates that. And then the ricotta's a nice thing. And then sunchoke chips are beautiful and crispy.
This is a delicious soup.
They have that like caramelized flavor, and it's really tasty. And it's like, I don't know, it's nice. It's like eating like a sweet sundae.
Yeah.
Sweet but savory. It's
sweet and savory. Yeah. Like, you can take
good.
parsnips and like you could make like a creme anglaise out of that, or you could make a dessert, or you could take it and like cream it and like put it into a cheesecake or something. Like, parsnips are very versatile.
All right, so listen, we all love watching you on The Bear, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but you're also an executive producer on the show.
Yeah, I'm one of the bosses.
You're
one of the bosses.
Say it. I like that, the way you dropped that. I'm one of the bosses.
No.
And you also create some of the recipes that are on the show. So tell me, how do you decide what's the recipes for the show versus the recipes for your restaurant versus the recipes for your cookbook?
Okay. Well, on The Bear specifically, we couldn't do it. Like, Courtney Store is our full culinary. She's the boss. I work with her on ideation. But the thing is we work together. She's an incredible chef. And we work on ideation. How would Carmi think of a menu?
Gotcha.
Where does he come from? Where has he been taught? Where's he going? He's Italian-American. Was taught in fine dining. Sid is worked at UPS and doesn't have formal training. And she's coming together. Where does that lineage come? Who are you defines like what you really cook, right? And so I think it is like one of those things that we try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And we're like, try to make it as real as possible.
Yeah.
Like, how do you create these menu items? Where, like, their skill level, where they come from, that all plays. And then for my restaurants, it is like a thing where we're just trying to make good cheeseburgers and trying to make good pizza and trying to make good pho. And like Cafe Rang, which is right around the corner from here, but it is like a thing that's like, we had to get like his recipes from his sister. And she just lives like down by, where's she, Fan Rang? Around Fan Rang, I think. I forget. I was there a long time ago.
Yeah.
But we had to call his sister and like get like, what's her shrimp cake recipe? And like, how does she make pho? And we wanted to bring those recipes here. Because Rang was like, he's a good chef, but I was just like, yo, when we were there, your sister's food was so insane. It was so delicious. I was just like, we need some of those recipes. And so I want to make things for the restaurants and things. I want to make them as real as possible and from the heart and kind of singular. Really like focus on like individual, like pizza, cheeseburgers, even at Rizzo's, we're making just chicken parm. We want to make chicken parm and like matzo sticks.
Who doesn't love chicken parm?
The matzo sticks are fire, but it's just like, how do you make a really good matzo stick actually, you know? So then you just ideate and think of things and everything's different and
All right, so all of this talk of food is getting us hungry, so we're gonna dive back into the food. And this next dish was inspired by a Mexican corn salad. Street corn salad.
elotes.
But it's like a salad in a sundae cup. Talk to us about this one as we dive in.
So this is just like, almost like, you take the charred corn salsa and like salad and you just char it and then you make a crema, which is like equal parts like mayonnaise and sour cream and Parmesan cheese. And then you just kind of dress it up. And then the thing on top, which is really nice, it's really good.
Ridiculous.
And then we just beer batter fried cheese curds. And so then you have...
That's what this is?
Yeah, that's just fried cheese. And then you eat that and then that's just nice. That's good for you.
This is beautiful.
That's tasty, right? It's good.
Maddie, we've known each other for a long time.
A long time.
So
Old friends.
Old pals. I want to take a little trip down memory lane to when we were just two young kids starting out in our careers. Check this out.
Oh, look at me now. Boiling hot dogs.
Is there a fine art to, the crumpling? Are you just...
Well, you don't want to dust it. You still want some big chunks. The tartness from the yellow mustard and the sweetness and smoke of the beans, the crunch of the chip, the softness and tenderness of the hot dog.
First of all, I gotta say, that is still one of the best hot dogs I've ever had.
That's a great hot dog.
Second of all, if you could go back and talk to that baby-faced boy and tell him one thing, what would it be?
Everything's gonna be all right? I don't know.
Really good.
Yeah, like I think that guy at 27, I was a little bit of a psychopath, maybe. It was like one of those things. Who knows? You know, like I'm happy that I'm here. That's for sure, and I'm very grateful for being able to write books and have restaurants and do all the things that I'm able to do, which is a beautiful thing. And yeah, that guy didn't know nothing.
Yeah, but you know what, Maddie? We're happy that you're here too.
I'm happy
really
to be
happy you're
here.
Well, for our final dish, we're gonna talk sandwiches. Talk to us about this fried Spam kimchi grilled cheese.
Spam's fire. I don't know.
By the way, I've never had Spam before. It's my first Spam.
First time having Spam. I think Spam probably gets a bad... It's almost like a thing like MSG gets a bad rap or like Spam gets a bad rap. Spam is a beautiful, powerful thing that has fed many people for a long time. I don't know. I'm not gonna say hundreds of years, but Spam's been good. Spam's fire. And kimchi and the grilled cheese, it just makes sense. You have something fatty and salty, then you have something crunchy like the kimchi and salty but sour, and then the cheese is nice and good, and then the bread is a crunch, and then, making sandwiches is very architectural. You want to have different layers of crunch and softnesses and things that aren't gonna move around when you bite into them, because the worst thing about a sandwich, you take a bite and it goes all to the side.
It goes to the side.
That's because the bread's too hard. That's no good.
That's no good.
That's no good, because then the bread, you're not able to bite into it and allow the layers to be able to, there's a science to it.
You're an architect. You're an architect of beautiful things. We love you so much.
We love you.
Thank you for being here with us today. Wow, magic time. Now, don't forget, soup, salad, sandwiches is available now. And good news for our studio audience. You're all going home with your own coffee.
Everyone gets a book! You get a book! You get a book! Book!
guest as one of the most beloved Italian chefs of our time. She's an Emmy Award-winning TV host, best-selling cookbook author, James Beard Award winner, and restaurateur.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Okay, and today is our lucky day. I skipped breakfast for this because she's here with her recipes from a remarkable 16th cookbook, Lidia's From Our Family Table to Yours. Please welcome back to the show, celebrity chef Lidia Bastianich. Good to see you.
We obviously love it when you're here. And we also love the fact that you have always said that you married your two passions in life, family and food. And you bring these two together in this cookbook, like everything you do. And this cookbook, you wrote it with your daughter. So I want to know, what did a typical family dinner look like in your household?
Well, there's a big table, and it looks like this and more. Just, family style at the table, and not necessarily, this is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A table at home doesn't have to be overcrowded.
Yeah.
Some good food, a nice little salad, and whatever, some good wine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay,
I
we're
really
here
like
with
that.
you.
Lydia, you're speaking my language.
But and you need your family, you need your friends, you need people that you love, and people that you want to give love to with food. Because food is nurturing.
Yeah, food is love, yes. And we are thrilled to eat your family recipes, but we're gonna start with a salad, the frisée salad. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, this is frisée. Okay. This is the kind of, you get like a whole head. It's a little too much, so I have here. Okay. And frisée is good because it's crunchy, and it's not tough, but it's resilient. So when you're making your salad, you can make it a little bit in advance and keep. And this will make could make a whole meal, lunch, or as an appetizer.
Okay.
So all of these things will go in there, but I want to show you the salami part. You can put salami, you can put ham.
Salami in a salad, I love it.
Now you see, nice and thick, you want to cut it, and you want to kind of, so that you find these little pieces in there that you can kind of eat. Okay, so this goes in.
We're just putting all of the things in it, right?
All of those things. And this is the product. So this is a giardiniera. Giardiniera is pickled vegetables.
Okay.
And it usually, in the Italian tradition, summertime, lots of vegetables, wintertime, not so many. They didn't have the freezer or anything.
No.
They made the giardiniera, just like that.
Giardiniera?
It's got a little bit of a kick to it, right? Like a little bit, like I love it.
It's pickled.
It's pickled.
It's pickled vegetables, peppers, carrots, or whatever. A little bit of onions in here, sure.
Put all of it? Or just
No, just
not too
a little,
much?
not too much. This is the provola cheese. Provola is a cheese like a mozzarella, but it's more pronounced.
The salad really looks gorgeous. You haven't even finished making it yet.
Okay, I'm making it, and ask me any questions.
Can we try
Okay,
this?
wait, before we try, you have to say your catchphrase. You have to say your catchphrase for us.
Tutti a tavola a mangiare. Everybody.
Okay, now we'll take it off.
Okay, so this is the dressing, and it's oil and vinegar. That's all it is. And, you can do it individually, or you can sort of whisk it, and it sort of emulsifies like that.
It's
and
gorgeous.
You toss it. I'm saving the eggs. You can put them as a decoration like that, or you can toss them in. If you toss them in, what happens is that the yellow kind of blends into the salad. And you just mix that salad.
Isn't that gorgeous? Do we love that?
Yeah.
So nice.
And it tastes incredible.
Okay, you have also brought an appetizer for us. So tell us about this spicy roasted cauliflower.
So, vegetables. Us Italians, we love our vegetables. And here, always in America, how do I prepare what? Everybody loves crunchiness. Kids love crunchiness. So this is cauliflower, the head of cauliflower. Cut it into florets, boil it. Okay. And then you make a breadcrumb, flavorful. Breadcrumbs, oregano, parsley, pepperoncino, salt, pepper, oil, toast. And then those cauliflowers, you toss it in that with oil.
I've never had a cauliflower this good in my life. Oh, delicious.
My son would eat this.
All right, okay. And you put it in the oven, and you have a little bit of marinara sauce next to it, or whatever. That's as simple as that gets.
Yeah, that's another winner. Okay, we couldn't have you here without having you do a pasta.
Okay.
So,
another one. Now, I am here because these are all recipes in the book. And my book this book is dedicated actually to my mother. My mother passed away 2 years ago. You watch the show, you know my mother. And, you ask me, my viewers ask me, Lidia, what does your family love to eat? What do you cook for your family? So this book is dedicated to my mother, and it is the favorite family recipes.
Okay.
So all of these are the favorites. This is one of those simple and straightforward recipes that hopefully you ladies can make.
It'll become our family recipe. Yes.
So what you do is, the cherry tomatoes, cut them in half.
Okay.
The seasoned breadcrumbs you made for this? We can reuse them here. I'll make it for this. So the seasoned breadcrumbs, the tomatoes, toss them a little bit of oil, salt and whatever, toss them in the seasoned breadcrumbs, put them on a parchment paper in the oven, 375, and let them get sort of toasty and baked, and they get sweet, and the bread gets crunchy. The pasta, while you pull out the tomatoes, you have the pasta boiling, the water, cook the pasta, hot pasta, you throw the tomatoes in it, some oil, toss, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of basil, and you have your pasta dish.
So
incredible.
All right.
Okay, so since we've been talking about family, we saw that you posted about going to visit your grandson at college. It looks like a big party. And did you cooked for all his friends?
That is so cool.
I did. I have 5 grandkids.
Okay.
And they're all of them. Some of them out of college, some into college. And I went to every single college that they went. I went.
You were dorm hopping?
I went to the dorm. I cooked
For everybody?
Did they appreciate what they were getting out of this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They did. Let me tell you, but not for the whole dorm. Whoever my grandson and granddaughter chose.
Okay.
Grandma's coming.
Yeah.
And I I cooked in the dorm, and let me tell you, that was challenging.
I can only imagine.
I came up with all my kind of equipment, the products, and I said, okay, where's the kitchen? So we went down to the kitchen. The sink was like this.
Of course.
Dirty. I had to clean up first. But,
Of course.
but we did that, and I did it for all of the kids, and there's 2 left, and I visit. Sometimes I take them out, to dinner, whatever. But yes, it's about food and
So
those
family.
kids and getting to know because I think one of the most important part as a parent, as a grandparent, is know who your kids hang out with.
Yes.
Get to know them.
Yeah.
And food will bring all of them, wherever you're calling them, especially at that age.
Yeah.
And I do
That
it.
would bring me out. I would skip all the exams teacher food. I'd be like, I'm out of here. All right. So who doesn't love a roast chicken? Now, I feel honored that you're going to teach us how you make your special roast chicken. I can't wait to hear everything.
Okay. The important thing in cooking is that you buy good ingredients, especially when you're dealing with meats and all of that. Make sure that it's a free-range chicken. It's a little bit more of an investment, but it yields a lot. It yields a lot more flavor and health-wise and all that. So this chicken is a nice free-range chicken, a nice size. If you're baking a chicken, because you can do a lot with leftover chicken, so nice size. And then I make like a pesto, oregano, rosemary, lemon and all that, and I put it in a food processor, and I make like a paste. And with a little bit of oil, salt and pepper, and then I stick it under the skin. I rub the whole chicken in, out. I put the lemon, I put the whole thing in the oven and let it get nice and crisp like that. So you have vegetables and chicken.
It's delicious.
perfection.
Incredible. So delicious.
Lydia, we always love having you. Thank you so much for coming and making all of our mouths water from delight. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
So, Lydia's From Our Family Table to Yours is available now, and good news for our studio audience, Lidia is sending everyone home with a signed copy.
So our next guest is a widely celebrated chef from Lyon, France, whose culinary empire spans the globe, including multiple Michelin-starred restaurants.
His flagship restaurant, Daniel, is celebrating its 30th anniversary this month, so please welcome back to the show, Chef Daniel Boulud.
Okay, so first of all, we want to start off with congratulations. You own a Michelin star restaurant in New York City, one of the toughest places to have a restaurant of that level. Tell me, what lessons have you learned?
The lesson I've learned is that, it's all about the team. It's all about our customer. It's about our community. It's about our city. And It don't matter where you cook. It don't matter what level of restaurant you have. I think it's just that investment into the craft, the passion, and the service, and the pleasure to give pleasure. I think that's what...
You're speaking my language, Danielle.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, the biggest pleasure here is also the food. So we are looking in front of us this gorgeous...
We're dining on the social today.
Yes. You've brought 3 different dishes for us to try today from your restaurant, Danielle.
Yes.
So first up is the chilled pea velouté.
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever had a velouté. Is it just, like, tell us about it. Tell us
it's
about
like
it.
velvet.
Okay.
Actually, because we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Restaurant Daniel in New York City, we at Café Boulud in Toronto here at the Four Seasons, we are celebrating the 30th of Daniel tonight and during the entire the next 2 weeks with this menu that you can come and enjoy as well at Café Boulud at the Four Seasons.
Oh, it's
And so you have
so
the pea velouté. So pea velouté, what is a velouté? Velouté is a soup, but velouté is something that has a certain softness, thickness, richness, that brightness and lightness. So this is brightly fresh green because Daniel opened 30 years ago in May of 1993 in New York. I wanted to celebrate. I love to celebrate the seasons and its harvest, and I wanted to celebrate peas. So I did a 5-pea soup with bacons and rosemary and mint. And that's
I just finished mine.
I know. I almost was like, Mel, the hard part is the bowl. I almost had to tell Mel the hard part's the bowl. I can hear you clanking from over here, girl. But you know what's so great? Because that tastes delicious, and often when you're at a restaurant and you have something, you're like, I wonder if I can recreate this at home. So what advice do you have for somebody who wants to entertain their friends or their partner and recreate one of these meals at home? Where do they start?
I think what's important is to find good ingredients. It starts with fresh, good ingredients. And that's why, speaking about the season, it's the best opportunity to find ingredients that taste good, that are fresh, that will be local, and that will be, that window of time that you want to enjoy it, even maybe, have it every day if you like. And then after, keep it simple, but don't miss the step that will make the difference in the taste.
Okay.
I think that's very important. So have a good cookbook, trust the chef that you like to cook with, and try to practice.
I love it. Okay, the next is, I'm going to go, je parle français. I'm going to try to pronounce it.
Félicitations.
Homard au mori et vin jaune with asparagus.
Voilà.
So, lobster.
Lobster.
Okay,
we are in
tell
Canada.
us about it.
We're in Canada, and our lobster is like it's roasted, and we make a sauce with vin jaune, and we do also a morel cream with vin jaune. Vin jaune is a vin du Jura, and it's a wine that has a little bit of an oxidation to it, and I would say that it's almost like a dry sherry, and it goes very well with asparagus. So between the lobster sauce américaine or sauce canadienne, and the morel and the asparagus, again, it's singing the season. It's singing ingredient. The asparagus are from Ontario, actually, and the morels are from the West Coast, I think, and the lobster is from the East Coast. So imagine of Canada, all that. So it's Canada in the plate.
Beautiful.
It tastes
in the mid
delicious.
Of May.
It tastes so good. All right, so next up we have the baked sea bass. Talk to us about this dish.
That dish was actually created 35 years ago, I would say, when I was a chef at Le Cirque in New York, a famous restaurant that after 30 years ago, I opened Daniel, and I continued to make that dish. And then my chef were getting tired about the paupiette of sea bass wrapped in potatoes over a bed of leeks with red wine sauce. So we created a lot of rendition of this. It's just taking a classic piece of music and jamming a little bit over it.
Oh my God.
That we did. So we have a peppered sea bass with a red wine sauce that is dense and concentrated. So you put very little, and it's finished with butter. And then we have a custard of leeks, and we have a potato that It's a little tricky to do it at home because we're using a Japanese machine that is kind of a mandolin. Mandolin is something you slice vegetable very thin. You look at the screen. And so on the left, there is that machine that has a crank, and you put your potatoes, and you get these sheets of potatoes that are very long and thin. And then over that, we put a layer of onion that has been caramelized with some herbs like thyme and parsley and salt and pepper. And then after we roll that potatoes and then put some butter around, cook it into a plastic film in the water. And then after we slice it and we roast it. So that's why it's a little puck of potatoes.
It's really good.
Wow. Oh my God.
But if you don't have the machine, you just take the potato, you slice it thin, you put some onions, some herbs, some butter.
When you say slice it thin, with what? Just a knife, you just slice it thin?
Yeah, with a mandolin, with a slicer, with a vegetable slicer. And then you bake it in the oven and serve it with your fish and the red wine sauce. Yeah, that's important to do it right.
Listen, first of all, we're in heaven with all of this food. You have cooked for so many celebrities. Is there someone who yet you are wanting to cook for that you haven't yet?
Is there a celebrity? I don't know, Taylor Swift. I haven't cooked for Taylor Swift. And my wife went to the concert last Friday or last Saturday night. She went to the concert in Midland in New York. And I said, God, I need to cook for Taylor.
Hey, Taylor, you heard it here first.
So, hello.
You heard it here first. Chef Daniel,
I will, don't worry. It's only a question of time.
The kids call it manifesting.
Yes.
Right? You've manifested. Chef Daniel, this is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
So much for this. And congratulations.
I understand this could be challenging to do it at home, but just make a reservation. Make a reservation at Café Boulud at Toronto at the Four Seasons.
To the show. All right, Le Bernardin is one of the best restaurants in the entire world. It has spent 3 decades at the top of the New York City food scene. It has 3 Michelin stars. And it has upheld a 4-star review from the New York Times for over 2 decades. And now, its legendary chef and co-owner is making his signature cuisine accessible to home cooks everywhere with his latest cookbook, Seafood Simple. Please join us in welcoming the one and only Eric Ripert.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Bienvenue, chef.
I'm very happy to be with you.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. We want to start off with a pop culture question because it feels like in TV and movies, I'm thinking about the bear and the menu. It feels like they're lifting the curtain on what it takes to run a fine dining establishment. Is any of it true? How hard is it?
It's a lot of fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I like the bear, and I'm following the season. The acting is actually amazing, but to me, it's surreal.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. How so?
Because the restaurants cannot be chaotic like that. In a kitchen, you cannot have people screaming and losing their temper and freaking out, basically. It doesn't work like that. We have a kitchen at Le Bernardin with 75 cooks, and they're very focused on what they're supposed to do.
Is it quiet?
It's very peaceful, and only one person speaks at the time, which is the chef, me. So it's a bit surreal for me. And then the menu is a caricature and it's a very good caricature, a satire of what sometimes happens in fine dining when the chef goes a little bit.
And same with the customers, though. Same with the diners. It rips them, too.
The diners, too, because they accept everything, including, and we don't want to spoil the end of the movie, but you know.
Yeah.
Wow. You're just making me think of famous chefs on TV who do a lot of screaming. But anyway.
Yes, well, those ones, shame on them.
Okay, you heard it here first.
I won't say the name.
Neither will I. Let's talk about a lot of people at home, when they think of cooking seafood, it can be very, very intimidating. It could go wrong. So how does your book demystify the whole process?
Sure. I wanted to do this book because I hear a lot of the time people saying, oh my God, I don't know how to cook seafood. And people say, I don't really like seafood. And I'm asking why. And they all had the same experience. They went to the store, the fish was stinky, they cooked, the house was stinky. Nobody wanted to touch the food. The kids were mad. And it's because it's so important to go to the source, which is the store, the fishmonger or the supermarket or anywhere you find seafood, and to know the tricks, how to find fresh seafood. And that is very, very essential.
So you're picking it yourself, you're not sending somebody else to pick it for you. Is this true? We want to make sure about that.
Yes.
Okay.
But in the book, we give tips.
Oh, that's fantastic.
A lot of tips. And but the ultimate tip is that you take the seafood, you put it under your nose. It shouldn't be fishy or smelly. It should be high tide, sea breeze, not low tide.
I love that.
Right?
See? Think low tide's like, ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
High tide's like, whoo.
That reason alone to buy your book. Okay, we love those tips. We are going to taste a bunch of your delicious dishes in just a moment, but first you're going to start us off with something yourself you're going to prepare.
Sure.
And these are salmon rillettes, or salmon rillettes.
Yes.
So what is this? And tell us what you're going to do.
So salmon rillette is a French term to say salmon spread, but it sounds good. It sounds good in French, right?
Yes.
Rillette. It's basically poached salmon with smoked salmon that has been chopped.
Okay.
So we're mixing it together. Some chives.
Ooh, so pretty. Love
Some
that.
salt, because salt, of course, brings flavor. Pepper. I'm not shy on the salt.
No, neither am I.
Lemon juice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We go like that.
I love how unprecious you are about this.
My mother is feverishly writing this down, right?
Mayonnaise.
Yes. Wow. Oh my
Mayonnaise
gosh.
makes everything better, right?
Wow. Look at this.
So again, we're not shy.
We're not shy. This looks amazing.
And then I'm gonna mix it with a fork like that.
Okay.
And then it turns into this.
It's gonna turn into what you have, the spread.
So we have
Yes.
the magic of television. We already have our own. Shall we
It's
dig in?
right. You can dig in.
When
yes.
we dig in,
Put
I'm
it on
going
the
to ask
toast.
you a personal question. I'm always fascinated
Yes.
with chefs of your caliber. There are very few, of course.
Yes.
But what is your...
No, there's a lot.
There are. But what is your favorite alone time dinner? Like, no one's around. You get to have whatever you want. You're just a boy eating something delicious. What's it going to be?
Well, if it's at 1 o'clock in the morning when, you know, I'm
Getting home.
getting home, have a glass of wine, maybe a scotch. I go to the fridge, I have some chorizo, camembert, right? Some baguette.
So like bread, meat, and cheese, essentially.
Yes.
Oh my God,
something
that's
like that.
Oh my God,
Now-
I love that dinner.
I love that.
So you see, we did the spread.
This I'm going to try.
It's done.
We tried it in our own bowl, and it is
Look at this,
amazing.
you
So
guys.
we're going to keep digging in. Phenomenal.
Incredible.
It's phenomenal. Let's move on.
High tide.
I thought, right?
High-tide fish. We're going to move on to some other dishes, Chef. I'm going to dig into that in a second. The next one is mussels marinières rosé.
Yes.
So what is it, and how did you prepare it?
So mussel marinière, so we have them here. It's basically shallots, white wine, rosé wine. That's why we do it rosé.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes I do it with white, but for the book I use rosé because it was the summer. And then you basically cover the pot, you wait 3 minutes, they open,
Oh my gosh, it's
and
incredible.
that's it, and you eat them.
Well, this recipe calls for debearded mussels.
Yes, so those ones are not debearded,
Okay.
as you can see.
So
You
I'm going to
still-
try to do it. The last thing I debearded was my chin last night. But I'm going to give this a try. And you let me know if I'm doing it right.
Not yet.
There? Did I get it?
Well, you went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way! So,
You do the same,
like this?
yes, and now, yes, like this.
Oh!
That's the right way.
I got it. So, Dan, put the top down.
Yes.
And pull down.
And you go like, exactly.
It would be good to have nails, like longer fingernails.
Yeah, you go like this.
I'm learning how to
Okay.
debeard.
Like this,
Here.
and you pull.
Oh my God.
That's it. It's done.
Okay.
And you try to buy debearded mussels if you
Yeah.
can, so you don't have to do that at home.
Right, there we
It's
go.
kind of
True.
relaxing, though. Yeah.
You got to try these mussels. By the way, they're amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Phenomenal. You tried the mussels because we're always now going to move on to the halibut, which is next.
Yes.
It's called halibut en papillote.
Yes.
And you prepared this in tin foil.
Yes.
Okay, so why does cooking in tin foil work for you?
It works, well, this is the halibut on papillote.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's out, so you can serve it in a tin foil, which is, I don't recommend, remove it and put it in a plate. But tin foil is so easy, everybody has it at home.
Oh, beautiful.
Then you can fold, you say foil it? Fold it?
Yeah,
fold it, whip.
Fold it, easily. If not, you can do it also with parchment paper.
Okay.
And it's a bit more difficult. It's the same result. So I use
whatever you find first.
whatever I have at home, and the fish cooks in its own juice. It has tomatoes underneath, so you get the juice of the tomatoes, the fish, a bit of white wine,
And it stays
at the
so
end,
fresh.
at the end, a bit of basil, fresh basil.
Yeah.
Done.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I'm so sad to say this, but we're moving on to our final dish, which is tuna carpaccio, and it looks absolutely stunning. Tell us about this.
So tuna carpaccio, you need, of course, beautiful tuna. This is a good indication that the tuna is fresh when you have this color. When the tuna is brown, or it doesn't look like very vibrant,
Maybe no.
leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone.
But you take the tuna, you pound it with a plastic film on top.
Okay.
With a pounder, or if you don't have a pounder, you use a pen or anything to make it very thin like this. And then you put it in a plate. Don't forget to remove the plastic.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper, olive oil, chives. At the very last second, lemon juice, because the lemon juice cooks the fish.
Right.
And you eat it
And
with
that's it.
toast, and that's it.
Oh my gosh, there's such beauty in the simplicity of it. Oh my goodness. Eric, thank you so much for being with us today. It was such a pleasure to chat with you and to taste your delicious food. We really enjoyed it. Please come back.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Seafood Simple is available now, and good news for our studio audience. Eric is sending everyone home with your own copy.
So our next guest is a world-renowned chef, best-selling cookbook author, TV host, and the proprietor of the stunning inn at Bay Fortune in Prince Edward Island.
Yes, and he's here with the recipes from his latest cookbook, Farmhouse Vegetables. Please welcome the lovely and talented Michael Smith.
Michael, all the way from out east, and we want to start with the inn at Bay Fortune because it looks from these shots in the book magical. So tell us about the farm that inspired this recipe book.
Absolutely. My wife and I bought the inn 9 years ago, and we founded a culinary farm. We set out to grow what we serve. And boy, have we nailed it. We have knocked it out of the park. So proud of this farm.
Wow.
I think the thing I'm most proud about our farm is that from day one, we integrated learning and teaching into our farm. That's what a culinary farm is all about. So we're not just harvesting product from the soil, we're learning, we're harvesting knowledge. And so many people have life-changing moments on this farm. Very proud of that.
All right, so you started cooking when you were 17 and you were in school. So tell me, what ignited your passion for cooking with vegetables?
For me, this book is all about two big things. It's about just all that sort of received, earned wisdom of being my family's cook for all these years. I still cook for my family. My kids have grown up eating my food, and I'm so proud of that. And all those lessons and all that hard work and trying to figure out how to make nutrition work. And then 9 years ago, the most amazing farm in the world just landed right in our front yard. And we started our culinary farm, and we started that journey. And now I'm surrounded by bounty every day of my life. I'm surrounded by diversity, by all this amazing inspiration, and that's what led to this book.
I love that. So let's get to these vegetable dishes, shall we, Michael? And we're gonna start with beautiful beets.
Beets.
And now we often eat first with our eyes, and as you're starting to plate this and what we're looking at here, how do you make your plate so visually appealing to kind of get the salivary glands going?
Sure.
And follow it up with the taste?
I think one of the basic things we do is lots of colors, respect for our ingredients. I think one of the reasons that we as chefs like to make food look good is that we're showing respect. We're showing respect for the ingredients. So this plate is all about beets. And like so many of the recipes in the book, this book is about putting vegetables on the pedestal. Let's give them the same creative energy,
on the
pedestal.
Got
Same
it. Yeah.
creative passion that we give everything. And so one of the basic strategies in the book is to share different forms of the same vegetable. And so on this plate, there are 4 different types of beets. There's a beet sauce, there's poached beets, roasted beets. I'm gonna add some beet greens, okay?
Beets on beets on beets.
Wow.
Yeah, beets on beets on beets. Here we go. Woo, woo, woo. No, that doesn't work. One of my favorite ingredients these days, freekeh. This is grain. This is a basic grain that's toasted and wood smoked a bit. So it takes on this beautiful toasty flavor. Durham semolina grain.
Can I jump in, Michael? I've never had freekeh before that I know of.
Sure.
And so what are some other ways that you can use this grain? Where do we get this?
Well, it's a whole grain. It's like any wheat berry. You can use this. You find it in good specialty food stores, order it online, and of course, use it anywhere you would use whole grains. Add it to your salads, add it to your bowls, add it to places where you're looking to amp up your nutrition.
That's really good.
Yeah, and I should be clear, too.
I almost don't want
really good.
Yeah,
Isn't that
so
nice?
good.
And that little bit of homemade ricotta added at the end, too.
It is delicious, but I have to stop chewing so I can ask you this next question. You also brought shiitake cabbage tacos. Walk us through this. This just sounds incredible.
Yeah, so what we do there is we just take like a half a head of cabbage and sear the whole thing so it all gets nice and brown. Then we sort of peel it open into leaves and use those leaves to hold the flavor. So you see a lentil smear there, some roast shiitakes. There's even a green tomato, green coriander chow.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Guys, this is
like
amazing.
that sound. I love that sound. Listen to that.
Really good.
What am I tasting there under the...
It's the green coriander seeds, those pops of flavor there. And then there's that lentil smear on the bottom, nice earthy lentils.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have a mushroom patch at your farm?
We actually grow our own mushrooms.
Wow.
We sure do. Yeah, we're 3 years into a project. We try to add a new ecosystem to our farm every year. So 3 years ago, we started mushrooms. And the logs that you see in the picture have all been inoculated with mycelium, which sounds very fancy, but in essence, it's mushroom root, gets in that log, takes over, and we just took our first harvest off days just a couple of days ago. My very first shiitake mushrooms. Really proud of that.
It's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a win. Okay, let's keep this vegetable train going,
Let's
Michael.
do it. What's coming up next?
Next is a cauliflower mac and cheese, which seems like a really great way for all the parents out there, a really easy way to sneak in the veggies for the kids. So is the cauliflower taste, we're gonna try it, but, have you tried to mask
not
it?
sneaking at all. This is cauliflower mac and cheese. I want my kids to know they're eating cauliflower. Come on, parents, let's show off the veg. So what I did there, like I've had a mac and cheese recipe forever that works, all my little chefferly tricks, but this time for this book, we decided, let's take the cauliflower.
This is the truth right here.
Yeah, let's make the cream sauce out of cauliflower puree, and let's fold the florets into the noodly business and take all that trimmy business and make the sauce with the cheese. It totally works.
Listen, my kid would eat this.
You wouldn't even know,
My
would you?
kid would eat this.
Except you can see the cauliflower because respect your vegetables. You can see it. You can see.
I love, Michael, you've included veggies in anything, everywhere, including, is it true, desserts? And I know that chocolate and spice go together. However, a jalapeno chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Look at this. What more do I need to say? It's a chocolate chip cookie loaded with jalapenos.
All right.
And there's just something about the way they bake that they don't end up too spicy.
Do I need a cup of milk?
Yeah. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna, and
I can't handle spice,
Jalapeno's pretty entry level anyway, so let's see what you think.
Oh, it's good.
The flavor's there, but not the heat.
I'm waiting for the heat.
It's not coming.
There's no heat.
The heat just somehow dissipates.
the chocolate chip in the cookie.
And you're left with all that wonderful aromatic flavor.
Oh my God, I'm getting my veggies in my chocolate chip cookie.
Right?
This is amazing.
Health food.
Incredible.
Wow. No offense to the donuts, but this is smashing.
This is really good.
Smashing.
Nobody ever made a jalapeno donut. Maybe they did.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
you should be
Maybe
the
that's
first.
the next book.
to do it.
That's the next book.
Next book. Hey, Michael,
go.
thank you for bringing these wonderful stories and
My
photos.
pleasure.